Hi there, welcome to the Cult of Cinema. I am Aaron, and this here is my movie library. Today we are talking about the big Vinegar Syndrome sale that's going to be going on from the 22nd to the 25th. Yeah, it is just a week away. I had a couple of people kind of ask me if I was going to do any more videos on it because I did some videos earlier, especially where the sale was so close to coming up. So here I am today, and I'm doing it earlier so that if I have any people over in the UK or in other areas where the time frame, where the timing is a little bit different, it'll make it a little bit easier for them to see the video as well. Hopefully, we'll get some people in here because it's pretty quiet right now, and I got to say that is very unusual for this type of video, especially a Vinegar Syndrome video. So if you're in here and if you think I'm in here for a while, please, hit the like, share, that type of thing. I want to give like a big shout out already to my to my Patreon supporters and to all the cult members on here that come in and frequently, whether you're just in there to watch or in there to talk about as well. I've broken it down in a couple different ways today. What we're going to do is I have a top 12 Vinegar Syndrome of 12 titles that I do think everybody should have in their library when it comes to Vinegar Syndrome titles. I have a top 5 kind of like films that I think Vinegar Syndrome put out that I think flew under the radar that are really good picks as well. And I did pick top 5 adult titles for Vinegar Syndrome as well. So we're going to be looking at all of their different stuff. So it should be fun. Hopefully everybody will enjoy that. If you know somebody that's normally on here. Hey there, Chris. Welcome, man. Yeah, you're finally getting to see it live. And we're talking Vinegar Syndrome. I hope you're a Vinegar Syndrome fan. That's going to be like our topic of discussion today. Hey there, Alan. Hey, Dave. Hey there, Ricky, man. Caught up to the summer 3% off sale. Hey there, hi, Mark. One thing, hey, Mary, welcome. A lot of the people from last night are here. That's excellent. I got to say right now, Caught Up Bakes put out a set. Hey there, Dave. Hey there, John. Called the Dutch Wave, and it's called like the sex film set, right? And that's something that's going to be coming my way in the very near future. Fingers crossed, if mail goes well. If you have not looked into that set, it's one thing that I'll say about that set. And a lot of people have passed it up because they see the word sex in it and they think it's just a sexploitation set. It's not actually. It's actually a really cool set. I'll get into it more when I actually review the Dutch Wave set. But Martin Scorsese has something to do with it. It's actually his first work. And the very first work, by the way, also Silvio Cristo. So if you're looking into that set, you're looking into the Caught Epic sale, just see that's over there. They got some Tintel Brass stuff if it's still in print as well. Now, the way that I broke it down is we're going to be doing Vinegar Syndrome like must-have titles. We're going to be doing like 12 must-have titles. We're going to be doing 5 that I think are excellent adult titles if you're interested in going to that area as well. And we're going to be doing 5 kind of like under the radar types. So the way that, hey there, George, pretty good. I was watching Boomerang earlier today. It doesn't happen again. Hopefully I don't have to end this video early. It happened on my Instagram, but it was perfect on my Twitter. So what we're going to be doing here is we're looking at that. So what do you want to go for first? You want to go for we'll go for the 12 like must-have titles. Oh, the Tintel Brass one, nice. I am back. Bear with me today. There has been a little bit of internet lagging and issues. So if I go for a second, trust me. Hey there, Kobe. I'll be back. At least if it starts going really bad, I'll be back to say see ya. But let's start and get right into it. So I have 12 titles here to go first, and I think everybody should have the Vinegar Syndrome collection. After we go through those, then we'll look at the 5 flying under the radar ones, and then we're going to look at the adult titles as well. Hopefully I don't lose too many people during that. I don't have the 1920s erotica release. I don't have enough with Caught Epic release, actually. It's the most rad time of the year, mug. Like that. The sale usually goes, I'm not quite sure. I'll find out for you, though. I'll be back. I'm a horrible impersonator. Sadly, I was going to be an actor, but impersonations wasn't my thing. All right, we'll start right with the one title that usually everybody has, and that's and if you don't, it's kind of like the one to get. Yes, Evil Town is coming back. Actually, I mentioned that. So be on there. Hey, and ready, welcome, man. Be on there right away. Evil Town's a great release. If you don't have it, it's a VSA that's out of print. So they found a few extra copies of it there that weren't sold out, probably from the archive, where the archive's closed down. And Vice Academy as well. So if you haven't got those two releases, and trust me, if you haven't got those two, after these sold out, you are probably kicking yourself. So be refreshing that page so that you're on there right away and get those titles into your cart and order them right away. It's got Andy Milligan. I love Andy Milligan stuff. It'd be interesting to see like a whole set of Andy Milligan. If Severin is going to do it, I hope they do it the way they did the L. Absinthe set. And for those who are unaware of like of Andy Milligan, it's his life behind the scenes is just as fascinating as anything that he ever put out. Much like Al Absinthe. Andy Milligan was an excellent filmmaker. He made stuff like some kind of low budget stuff. Hey there, Wheels. He was married. But his marriage was kind of Andy Milligan was like a prolific, like kind of underground indie kind of gay director. But he actually got married, which was kind of like a joke type thing. I think really with him, because he was like known like for being like not exactly having the biggest thoughts on some girls. Evil Town, yes, Mugs. People are going to get a chance to get that one. They missed out on it. Hey there, one. Fleshpot on 42nd Street is an excellent release. Even if you don't like anything else that Andy Milligan put out, Fleshpot on 42nd Street is such good, crisp like dialogue in that. And trust me, it's going to be mentioned here. Don't worry. But let's start right now with the top 12 releases that everybody should have. Hey there, Murdersville. Long time, man. So obviously, Raw Force. If you don't have Raw Force in your collection, this is probably the safest bet if you've never bought a Vinegar Syndrome release before, is this one right here. Hey there, Sculptor. It is super, super crazy. It's fun. It's got Cameron Mitchell, and you can't go wrong with this Cameron. Well, sometimes you can, but not with this. Cameron Mitchell. You got like the Burbank Kung Fu Club. Like a really cool. There's zombies in this, by the way. A really cool release. And just look at this cover. There's like everything in the world is happening on this cover. It's like a Buckaroo Banzai style cover right there. This is one of the first ones I think they put out a slipcover to. And I'll be honest, out of everything that Vinegar Syndrome has put out, this is probably the least that needed a slipcover because the cover art is gorgeous already. But there you go. Anyway, Raw Force, definitely something that if you don't have it in your collection, trust me, you'll go back to the well, you watch it a few times. If you're having a party, you watch with some friends, just not a party, but like just a chill party or got a few drinks and stuff like that. I would love to have an Andy Milligan related book. That's something I got to look into. If they put out an Andy Milligan set, I'll do like a retrospective on that. I'll obviously, if things are going well at the time, I'll get set, and then I'll hopefully get the book eventually as well. We'll talk. We'll do some stuff on Andy Milligan. Next up, this was an easy choice for me because I knew I wanted to put one of these in like the kind of in the must-haves, and this one kind of seemed like a cool must-have. I wanted to have the Dave Dakota one and Linnea Quigley, Dave Dakota like kind of mash up, and I think you can't go can't go any better than Nightmare Sisters, which is an excellent release. Hey Brian, welcome, man. Yeah, I'm doing a top 12 Vinegar Synonyms that you should have in your collection. So if any of these you don't have during the sale, and feel free to ask, by the way, guys, if there's any questions you have on any of these titles. But yeah, if you're going to go with any of the Linnea Quigley stuff that's been put out, into the Dave Dakota stuff, Nightmare Sisters is a great jumping on spot for these type of films. And it's really fun. It's got like a lot of Scream Queens in it. We got Linnea Quigley, Michelle Bauer, Brink Stevens, and one of the best names in all of movie history, Dookie Flyswatter. Yes, Dookie Flyswatter is in this movie as well. So definitely worth checking out. It's a fun film. It's cheesy. There is actually two versions of the film on here. There is the original version of the film, and there's a TV version of the film as well. So I guess that's going to be kind of a watered down, cut down one. But it's always fun to see what they do for TV versions. Sometimes they shoot alternate footage. Sometimes they just take stuff out. Either way, it's a really fun release. And as far as as oddly, it doesn't have a reversible cover like a lot of them does, but it has a screaming queen. There you go. Kind of an odd picture. Now here is one title that's an early Vinegar Syndrome title, and I truly think that if anything like encompasses exactly what Vinegar Syndrome is and what they've been over the years, it's this film. It's this film right here. It's this release, and it's called Nightmare Weekend. One, aesthetically, it's extremely pleasing. It looks. This cover is absolutely. Hey there, Alan. It's absolutely gorgeous. Two, it has some good special features on here, some really good special features. Three, it's insane. The movie is insane. Have you seen this film? So who here, hands up if you've seen this movie, or better yet, hands up if you haven't seen this movie. It also has a star in it too. So we also have we also kind of like get like a lot of the new Vinegar Syndrome stuff. They'll have like, okay, this has a connection to this film or this series or this franchise. Definitely worth checking. Dale Metcalf from Pet Sematary is actually in this film. Oh, Brian. Not for the kiddies, but definitely one to check out. Definitely one to check out. It is a cool little release. Troma actually originally put this out. I don't think it's a Troma release, but it was put out by Troma. You know, like Troma usually makes their own films and then they buy the rights to other films and put them out with varying quality releases. But Vinegar Syndrome rescued Nightmare Weekend and did a great job with it. What is it about? It's hard to tell, basically. It is, there's a puppet. I'm not joking. And it's, and there's computers. There are silver balls that change into different things. There's a girl that goes around on roller skates. There is one of the most awkward love scenes you're ever going to see. And one of those absolutely crazy endings that you can only get from, unless if the name of your company is Vinegar Syndrome or Severin. It just really goes there with the insanity. And I'm really surprised that this wasn't picked up in the UK for Arrow Video, because it really seems like something that they would put out alongside of their, you know, like their Blood Rage and stuff like that. It's of that level of craziness. Except Blood Rage has a more cohesive, like, plot line. Nightmare Weekend doesn't, but it works in its advantage. Number 4, Girl on Roller Skates. You got to see it, man. You got to see it. It's insane. There's a scene with a chauffeur, and he's like a heavy drinker, so he's got like a sandwich, which is like 2 slices of bread, and in between the slices of bread is a flask, which he's drinking from, because that's Nightmare Weekend. Now, if that doesn't make you want to see Nightmare Weekend, I don't know what's going to make you want to see Nightmare Weekend. All right, so let's go do it for a blaxploitation one. So where do you start? Where do you go with blaxploitation stuff early on? Well, there's a couple ways to go. You can go for the early stuff, like the real kind of the good stuff, or you can go for the crazy stuff. And you know me, I'm going to go for the crazy stuff. And this is Dolomite. Rudy Ray Moore started, of course, now everybody's seen the Netflix movie about Rudy Ray Moore and about, you know, the making of these films. But Rudy Ray Moore was a stand-up comedian, and he made a blaxploitation film called Dolomite. It would start a series of films by Rudy Ray Moore. There would be 2 Dolomite films, the first one being called, of course, the titular Dolomite, and the second one being called Human Tornado. Dolomite, I think, is significantly better than Human Tornado, though both are good films. And there are 4 like Rudy Ray Moore films that were put out by Vinegar Syndrome all in total. If you got the bones to do it, just grab the 4 of them. There's a documentary that runs across all 4 Blu-ray releases called, what was it, My Name is Dolomite, or I Dolomite, something like that, called I Dolomite. Like part 1 of it's on here, part 2 is on Human Tornado, part 3 is on P.D. Wheatstraw, and part 4 is on Disco Godfather. Do not mistake like Disco Godfather and P.D. Wheatstraw for being Dolomite films. They're not Dolomite films, but they're actually really good Rudy Ray Moore films. A lot of people think P.D. Wheatstraw is actually his best film. But I think if you're going to start out with this first one. It is nuts, it is crazy, it is fun. It is blaxploitation, but it's very tongue-in-cheek blaxploitation. The action's there, the nudity's there, the villains are there. Just a cool film with a great start. They do international shipping, actually, Robert. because I'm in Canada, and I know that people buy Vinegar Syndrome over in places like Scotland and the UK as well. So yeah, there is international shipping. No RR box it yet. I would love to see this, like all four of these totals. I would love to see them eventually put like a box for us to put in, even if it was like a slimmer box. What my thoughts on Eddie Murphy's Dolomite? I thought it was good. Like I haven't, I want to rewatch it, but I thought it was a good job done. All right, next up is the first Vinegar Syndrome title that I got, and strongly believe there's a slipcover coming for this one. Hey, Pavilion, welcome back, man. So this one's going to have a slipcover. Have you got all the? I'm guessing, Brian, you got all these so far, right? And that is Nitrate Tear. So this is one here that I will 110% put as cult of cinema approved. This is an insane film. Right on. So are you going to get the slip? I kind of want the slip. I was in Ottawa when I picked this up. It's a cool release. What's really good about this one is, aside from the fact that it's an anthology made up of 3 films that are shortened to make an anthology, and for some reason he never really put out the films in the actual full length features of the films. Yeah, if anything's region locked, that's a good point there, Dave. There's a couple that are coming out that are region locked. If anything is region locked, just check first. But that means that they've made a big distribution deal for those films, and they were harder to get. Something like Patty Hearst is a Paul Schrader film. Say what you want, Paul Schrader is a big name when it comes to cinema, and Patty Hearst is an underrated Paul Schrader film, definitely. So if you want to get that one, know it's region A release, then you might have to grab another a player that plays region free stuff. I still haven't got Punkfication. It's got 2 movies on it too because I really want it. So this is a good one. This one also has 2 films on it. I'm glad you mentioned Punkfication, because this one here has a film called Greta, which was the second story on this one here. And Greta is probably the most disjointed story out of the 3 in the anthology, but it actually makes a lot more sense when you actually watch the actual film. The girl that plays Greta, and I can't remember her name right now, but she is utterly fascinating to watch. And I finished the film, and I looked it up and found out that was the only film that she'd ever made. I was kind of a bit heartbroken that I couldn't go watch her in something else, because she is one of those people. Hey there, Jason. And she's one of those people that that just didn't make a lot, but definitely was an excellent and unique actress. Get Nitrate Tear. It's a really fun film. Highlights a man that's kind of like mind wiped to get use a date rape drug on girls and bring them to this place where nefarious things are being done to them. Actually decides that what he's going to do is he's going to go out, I'm not joking on this one, and kind of slip a Mickey in someone in church. So he does that in a church, because if you're going to kidnap somebody in a crowded church, perfect place to do it. A1. That's Nitrate Tear, and it has one of the best earworm songs you're ever going to hear, and it will stick with you. It will stick. This song will stick with you for a long time. Everybody's got something to do, everybody but you. And now the song is in my head again. And no, I'm not going to get up and dance it. Berserker. This is a more recent release from Vinegar Syndrome. As you can see, this has got the nice slip on it. It's got for some odd reason, it's got like a very Pink Floyd The Wall looking back cover. Okay. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to the film itself, but this is an excellent release. This is a good one, Brian. This is actually really cool. George Buckflower is in this movie. And a decent part too. Not like sometimes you see him, he'll have a throwaway part. Like he'll be like bum number 2 or something like that. This was the original cover art. Somebody was like sneaking undercover art. So yeah, like, but one the biggest like one for me in here. There was a girl. She was in like Star Trek Next Generation, a bunch of stuff, called Beth Toussaint. And trust me, she's one of those actresses that you may not know her name, but the second you see her face, you remember who she is. You know, like Dick Miller. When you see Dick Miller, you're like, oh, who's that guy? Oh, it's Dick Miller. Beth Toussaint's one of those, except she's gorgeous, and she has a great scene in this one here. It's a really cool release, and basically, what this is are there's these couples that have gone up they've gone up camping, and something is stalking them and killing people. It could be anything. That is the homeless man from Back to the Future. You're correct, Alan. It could be a bear. It could be an actual Viking berserker. I'm not joking. Or it could be something else, something totally unique that's almost like an in-between of all of that. So, excellent release. I'll show you the reverse cover art on here too, which I should have switched over. I do apologize. I do tend to do that. It's just pretty much kind of a standard. There you go, right? Cover art there as well. I do tend to switch the cover art over when it's a slipcover release. There are some great features on here as well. There is a family affair video interview with writer-director Jefferson Richard. Beware of Bears video interview with actor Joseph Allen Johnson. A Valley Girl, there's an interview with Shannon Engman, and an audio interview with Mike Riley. Some great stuff on here, and some great pedigree here as well. They mentioned on the back here, like Jefferson Richardson, you know, who did Maniac Cop, was in Maniac Cop and Get Carter. The cinematography is done by the guy that did Silent Night, Deadly Night, and The Boogans. So that's kind of cool too. And the editing is by Marcus Manton, who did Pumpkinhead and Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. So there's quite a lot of like pedigree on this film. It is definitely one of those movies that I think more people should discover. And Brian, check it out during the sale. I think it's gonna be something you're gonna like. Now what I'm gonna do right now is, because I'm missing a lot of your comments there, I'm gonna just open up my my YouTube before I go on, and then we'll go from there. Buck Flowers played a homeless man in a lot of stuff. Not in everything, though. Buck Flowers actually directed in that too as well. Great guy. Severely underrated, actually. And he did so much. And he did the homeless man, the drunk character. He did those characters so well. But actually was an accomplished actor. They Live, yeah. Oh, yeah. He was in They Live. He did a lot. Like, he's got, like, just look at his filmography. It's incredible. He acted, he directed. I think he wrote some stuff as well. Split covers. I'm not big on the split covers. I haven't, but then again, I don't have any of them because I already own Slaughterhouse, and Slaughterhouse is not one of my favorite titles from Vinegar Syndrome or Heyday Films. Cool film, but not one of my favorites. Next up is Psycho Cop Returns, and pretty much everybody that has this one. This one doesn't have the slip with it anymore, but it's okay. It's actually a fun film to own, whether you got the slip or not. This is actually a really good film. It's directed by Adam Rifkin, which is probably one of the bigger directors that's come out from Vinegar Syndrome, and it has like a 43-minute making of documentary on here, which is extremely good. It's got a great documentary. Now, the guy that plays Psycho Cop, you're gonna recognize him because, well, he's in a little show called The Office. So you might want to check that out. There's a connection to The Office on this one. It's a cool release, and you do get to talk to a lot of the people on there. It's a really fun title. It's not what you think. This is not Maniac Cop. This is not like a serious film. This is very much tongue-in-cheek. There was an original Psycho Cop that came out before this one that didn't utilize the humorous aspect of the film as much, and because of that, unfortunately, I think that the original Psycho Cop, you have to remember, it's been a long time since I've seen the first Psycho Cop film. It was pretty stiff. I want them to put it out though, because I kind of want them. Midnight Hours, it was a TV film. It's one of my one of my high wants. Sherry Belafonte is in that one, and just a really good film. I'm a big musical fan too, so there's some great musical numbers in that. But Psycho Cop Returns, definitely one to have. If you don't have this one though, why not? I mean, like, this has been out for a long time, and it's legit good film. Like, it's one of those cases where, you know, a film heavily like beats out what the sequel did, beats out what the original did. Psycho Cop Returns is a much better film than Psycho Cop, so always a plus there. The next one is going to be familiar to Brian on here, because I talked about this on his podcast, Just the Discs, which you guys should be listening to, along with Pure Cinema, which we get a lot of the big people on, like the Quentin Tarantinos and the Edgar Wrights of the world. That's why, if you want to listen to their stuff, then you go to Pure Cinema. But no problem, dude. I listen to these things, so and they deserve more. So Splatter University, I talked about this one on his podcast, and this is a favorite of mine. Now, the girl that you're looking at right there, she looks kind of familiar, right? That's Elizabeth Caton. Okay, listen to the podcast. Well, you could. There is the websites, but I'd say if you've got a phone, whether it's a Google phone or an iPhone or, you know, Samsung, whatever, there's always a podcast app on every phone, and just all you have to do is download. Sometimes it's already downloaded, but just download the podcast app and just go search for Just the Discs and Pure Cinema, and those are the two ones that Brian does. Now, those he has a lot of guests on Just the Discs. And him and Elric do Pure Cinema, and they have a lot of like really big guests. Not guys like me, but big guests like Quentin Tarantino and people like that on there. So definitely check it out if you haven't. Like, there you go. Brian's been doing this stuff for a while. He knows it. This is a favorite of mine. Is this a good movie? No. But is it a great bad movie? Yes, it's a great bad movie. Now, see, there's a difference. There's a thing. And I talked about this yesterday. Like, the worst thing the movie can do to anybody is to bore you, is to be boring. Either, you know, make me a good movie, make me a great movie, or make me a movie that's so bad that I love it. And this is so bad that I love it. Now, Elizabeth Caton, by the way, I'm going to put it out there right now. She was the model for the cover for Splatter University. She actually is not in this film at all. She has nothing to do with the film. I just love Elizabeth Caton, so I put over her cover because she's close to my heart. I actually own 2 copies of Splatter University, this one and the 88 Films one. I'm not quite sure if it's the same, if they use the same transfer or not. I do love both releases. The 88 Films one has an extra film on it, but I just love like Splatter University. It's a crazy film. It makes like very little sense. You'll guess the killer. I'm going to guess that you're going to guess the killer. One of the things behind Splatter University is that they shot it as a specific type of kind of like a. She wasn't part 7 actually. She was in part 7. Pretty sure it's part 7. I could be wrong, but I think it's part 7. Now they shot it like kind of like a slasher, kind of a thriller type of film, and then they didn't have enough footage, so they went back and they shot more footage for this film, and it's almost like kind of a comedy, kind of humorous, maybe like a sort of I don't know, Animal House style weird humor in it. So this film is really tonally like strange. It shifts tonally throughout the film, but it is a fun film, and it's got an ending that, oh, damn, yeah. I won't say anything else, but man, that ending. Hey, Brian, that ending. Was anybody that's seen this movie? The ending on this film? Yep. Okay. And I say that in a good way. Crime Wave's a good film. Next up is one that I used to tout on my channel that everybody should own. And I used to keep saying, like, somebody should put this out. Somebody needs to put a Blu-ray edition of this film. It's such a good film. Rolf Koninsky did an amazing job in this film. It's such a meta film. It was there before Scream. I was making a video like this when the news came out that, okay, Vinegar Cinema is putting out this movie that you've been talking about for the last 2 years. So that was a big big that was exciting for me. It's a big moment for me. And of course, I have it. There's nothing out there. Now, if you don't have this one, it's a really cool film. It's extremely meta, and like to the nth degree. You think Scream is meta? No, this film is meta to the point where, like I've said it before, the guy gets away from the creature in one part of the film by grabbing the boom mic that they're making the movie with and swinging across the room. I'm not joking. He does this in this film. And if you want to know like about features on here, look at this, guys. These are the amount of features on this film. There is an extra film on here. There are some short films on here. There's interviews. There's commentaries, production stills, cast additions, behind the scenes of the short films. If you're a Tiffany Shepis fan, for instance, Tiffany Shepis, great like kind of scream queen that's done a lot of stuff. She's really been a positive part of the community. She's actually in a film on here, in a short film on here called Mood Boobs. It's not what you think, but well, maybe it is a bit what you think. But she is on here, and there is there's like a kind of a behind the scenes of Mood Boobs as well. So that's kind of cool there. And you get to see some of the actors from There's Nothing Out There in another film that he did called, what's the name of it here? I got to find out. Murder in Winter, which is an earlier film done by him. And there is a great short film that's not made by Rolf Koninsky, but is about this film called Copycat. And definitely worth checking out because Copycat is on here. You will go away with a new reverence for this film and its creator when you watch Copycat. Took Friday after. That is dedication, man. Another film that made it onto the Just to This podcast, by the way. So if you check those out, and especially if you check out the ones that I'm in, let me know. Well, let me know what you think. Is Incubus. Incubus is probably one of my favorite films that they put out. I love the way this is done. John Cassavetes is excellent in this film. John Cassavetes often took acting roles to pretty much to get money for his films that he was making on his own. But John Cassavetes' work in this and his influence is really, really like seen on this film. This has a great cast. John Cassavetes, John Garfield's in this film. Oh God, this girl in it too. What's her name? Carrie Keane. Yeah, she was in an episode of Mercy Road I was actually watching the other day. There are some amazing camera shots in this film. At the beginning of the film, it's almost done like at the beginning, almost kind of like a slasher film. This is one of my favorite Vinegar Syndrome releases. Definitely one of my favorite like straightforward Vinegar Syndrome releases. It's something that I do think everybody should have. And it starts off almost like a slasher type style with the camera angles and stuff like that. And there's like, and I think we talked about this, mentioned this on the podcast as well. There's one shot, kind of like an under the door type shot, done in the film. Hey there, Jacob. And it is bloody brilliant. Now, obviously, the slipcover version of this one, unfortunately, is gone by now, but it had a great slipcover. But either way, it's an excellent release. There is a great interview with the director, John Hoff, there. The interview, Carrie Keane. Don't like go into the special features. Hey, Cinematech. Yeah, I'm trying to do an earlier one today. Until you've seen the film, because the special features kind of are a giveaway. If you've read the book Incubus, don't think you're going to know who did it, because Incubus the book and Incubus the movie decide to swerve when it comes to the endings. Did you like it, Juan? But I thought it was an excellent release. I am on early today. I wanted to do one that I thought everybody, at a time frame that I think that everybody could be here for, whether you're in the US or the UK. That was kind of what I wanted to do for this one. Excellent. There, Juan. It's Juan approved. And I would definitely say Incubus is Call to Cinema approved. So certain films like here are Call to Cinema approved. And when I mention them, I'll tell you which ones. What Call to Cinema approval means. That means it gets my highest recommendation as being a movie that not just you should watch, but a movie that you should own in your collection. That's what that means. Now this is Canucksploitation. What is Canucksploitation at its best, actually, and I think. You got some good releases, man. You got some good choices there. I haven't seen the Coda. I don't think I've seen the Coda, so that's a blind spot for me. Sudden Fury. This is a exploitation release, kind of Hitchcockian. That's what I'm going to say, Hitchcockian. Now, if you've never seen this movie, it's a pretty simple plot. Basically, a guy is going, kind of wants to, he's kind of fed up with his wife. He wants to kill her. There's an accident, and a guy stumbles upon it, and he figures, I can use this, kind of this patsy to kind of be like, to kind of like blame him for my wife's death. Most of my videos are archived. Like will come on. You can come back and watch them later on, unless something like dreadful happens. You should be able to see it. Now, did you like Sudden Fury, Scolder? I kind of like to know your thoughts on it. Most people tend to find a really fun one. Like, not every exploitation one is going to hit with everybody, but I do think this was a fun release. I loved the slip cover to it, and it's one that I'll watch over again. Like certain ones I know I'm going to watch, and I'll kind of watch this next year type of thing. But it's one I can watch with my better half, and that will definitely check out again. And number 12, before we get into the hidden gems, which we haven't got to the hidden gems yet, and then we'll get to the adult titles that I think everybody should own, because I think there are some that you should, is one that I think a lot of people are going to know, and that is Spookies. Spookies is an excellent, excellent little weird film. It is not like I said before, it's not a good film, but it is a great bad film. And the story behind Spookies is even more fascinating. And luckily, what they did was they put a documentary on the story behind Spookies on here, a 2-hour-long documentary. And if that wasn't good enough for you, Vipco, the company that it's still available. It's just without the slipcover. There were 2 slipcovers. I have them both because one of you guys were nice enough to get me the slipcover here. So, because I was a huge fan of the other slipcover, which I actually kind of like, I was worried that it was gonna get dinged. So I've got it actually put in my background as like on display. So I'm a big Spookies fan. There's a Vipco documentary on here too as well. So if you don't know what Vipco is, you'll find out in the documentary, but it'll give you a little behind the scenes peek. Vipco was a company in the UK that put out a lot of video nasty. So, and there's a fascinating story behind Vipco and the owner of it and his thoughts on the films. So let's go directly right in from that into, I picked out 5 releases that I think kind of fly under people's radars every year that I think everybody should be picking up that they may not. And I'm going to go in no particular order when it comes to this. Well, probably because Spookies probably took a lot of work into that one. And there's a lot on Spookies. Like there's 2 Blu-ray discs, and it is like, then there's 2 like full-length documentaries. So there's a ton of stuff on Spookies. So I'm not quite sure, but I'm saying that would probably be one of the reasons why. This is a title I mentioned on here a lot, so I don't really have to say a lot about this one. This is Malibu High. It is the one that is nothing like the cover of the film. It is a great release. It is an excellent film. It is not a teen comedy. It is not a sexploitation film in the vein of Porky's or American Pie, anything like that. It looks exactly like that's what it's going to be. It is a dark film about a young girl, a high school girl, that gets involved first in she gets involved in prostitution, which leads her down to becoming an assassin. There is a ton of like different stuff in here. It's a much darker film than you would imagine. And stars Jill Lansing actually in this one right here. Alan, it is a really cool release. If you've never checked it out, definitely a film to check out. It is nothing like you think it's going to be, but it's much better. It's more brilliant. Hey there, Adrian. Welcome. You, Adrian. So if you don't have Malibu High, this is something that I strongly recommend you look at during the sale. Obviously, this has been out for a while, so it's going to be a little bit cheaper. So there you go, Malibu High, definitely on my recommended list. Not everything has to be bad or silly or crazy. Sometimes you got to get some really good films too. And I've mentioned a few really good films, but here's one that is a bit of a slow burn. It's a bit of a Southern Gothic film, but a great cast. Cliff Robertson, Gene Simmons, Jenny Agutter. Simon Ward, and Judy Geeson, which is an amazing cast for Vinegar Syndrome release. And that is Dominique, otherwise known as Dominique is Dead, or is she? So definitely one worth looking into. If you've never seen this film, it's a cool little release. It's a bit of a slow burn. It's a thriller. It is by no means like a fast-paced film, but it is an excellent little film. Yeah, on VHS, nice. And I always loved this. I love the trailer to this movie. Back in the VHS days, you know, Jason. There was like this really cool trailer for Dominique. And again, there's a couple audio interviews with actor Michael Jason, and one with director Brian Cook on here as well. Great restoration of the film, by the way. Vinegar Syndrome, like bar none, they do great restorations of their films. So 110%. If you want like a really good film, like it's a one that you can sit down, you can watch, you can probably watch with your better half, then Dominique is it's that type of film. That you sit down with your spouse and you watch. On the other side of it, I got kind of a cool exploitation-y type one that I do enjoy. And this I got this slipcover of, but there's a regular edition out now. Really good release, directed by Michael Levesque, who did Werewolf on Wheels. It is Sweet Sugar, which stars Phyllis Davis, and a really cool film. If you've not seen this one, I highly recommend it. Way better than you could probably still watch this with my better half. I watched this one with my better half, but we'll get to the one. But way cool release. It is. This is a cool one, Jason. Great cast in this one. We got Pamela Collins in this one here as well. It's just such a fun film. So if you haven't seen it, definitely want to check out. Here's one that I don't think I've seen anybody talk about very much, or anybody mention when it comes to like Vinegar Syndrome and their releases. And this is the Doll Squad it's a double feature actually with Mission Kill Fast. So it's the Ted V. Michaels from Ted V. Michaels collection, which I don't think they did very many more Ted V. Michaels films, which is a shame because this is actually a really good double feature. There are actually two really cool films on here. Especially if you ever see the Virgins from Hell, the one that Mon McGar put out, kind of like that. Yeah, early on Cinematheque they used blue cases before they went to their standard white cases. I like the white cases better, so eventually I'll buy some clear cases. I don't have the Blood Hook slip. I really wish I did though, because that was a really cool slip. I missed out on the slip for that one. Blood Hook never made the list for this time, but it is a great release. What's my favorite Vinegar Syndrome movie? It's up in the air between Incubus and another movie that I'm going to show a little bit later on. But there's a few. Like, I don't know if I get that's why you get in the top 12 and the top kind of 5. But this one here is a cool release. If you haven't checked it out, imagine like Charlie's Angels with more exploitation to it. That's because the newer ones, so this was when it originally came out. Newer editions of this probably have the slip. There you go. This is the alternate artwork for Mission Kill Fast. Candy Tangerine Man is a great title, by the way, and a great exploitation one. Great blaxploitation one. I heard that, like, wasn't there like rumors that was going to be remade, which would be excellent actually. But Ted V. Michaels, don't think that maybe you didn't like the Corpse Grinders, or maybe you thought Corpse Grinders was a bit silly. That definitely check into this one. Charlie's Angels only with more exploitation. It's true. And because I knew I needed to put this double feature in there, because I just had so much fun with this one, and I've watched it so many times. I'm not even gonna lie, it's a Dave Dakota one with Linnea Quigley. What's my favorite blaxploitation film? I don't really know. I don't know. Maybe Superfly, Dolomite. There's a ton of them that I like. I really like Coffee. Coffee's good one. I didn't know there's a Corpse Grinders too. This is Murder Weapon and Deadly Embrace. It is a double feature, and they're very different films. One of these is one of those kind of like the erotic thriller type ones that you would see on Cinemax, like those like the Night Eyes style ones, and that's Deadly Embrace. And another one is a slasher kind of killer film with a bit of mystery, not much mystery, but a bit of mystery to who the killer is, and that is Murder Weapon. is really fun. I gotta say, I loved, it was a Blu-ray DVD pack, and I loved both of these films. Pets is an excellent one, John. Pets is a personal favorite of mine. I didn't put it down here because I thought, Pets is a great film. I'm not sure if it's for everybody. But that would have been number 6 on my kind of my underrated ones. But I wanted to do something to go a little bit different and not put stuff that I put into every video. So I've been trying to like mix it up a bit. But this one here is a really good one if you don't have it. I did like Slam Ballerama. I thought it was fun. Now, for the titles that you can't, well, you can watch with your better half, but you can't, definitely not, these aren't family titles. But we're going to talk about them, and there's some great stuff on here. So first off, this is one, I think the slip is still available for this one. It was the last time I checked, and that is Mascara. Mascara was directed by Henry Prashad, who was a great director for the adult film titles. So we're going into my top 5 adult film titles that you should own from Vinegar Syndrome. And what type of family? Well, if it's a family from like Taboo, maybe, but no. But definitely a cool release. It is this. The cinematography is by Roberta Finley. It was a great director of her own right. Yeah, not one to watch with mom and dad. But just everything about this film just struck with me. And as you know, for me, when I'm looking at a film like this, I am strongly looking at like kind of plot and performance and all that as well, not just what you'd expect. So when I say like this, yes, this actually has a story, and a good story. It's basically, it's about the secretary, and she's having an unfulfilling life. She feels like she's empty, she's unfulfilled. She's going out on these double dates with her friends, and it's just she feels. These are X-rated titles. These are all X-rated titles. Now, some of these will have R-rated editions as well on there, and I will mention those when there are R-rated editions of those. But so she meets up with this girl that comes over to her boss's place, who was she's a lady of the evening. She's a prostitute, and she ends up going to her house and saying, can I come along with you? I'm not feeling, can I come along with you, or can I do work for you? See, I don't care about the money. I just want something different. I want to feel something again, because right now I'm just not feeling anything. There's a really good progression throughout the film. The adult scenes are good like as well, but the plot is really well done, and it leads to an actual something you wouldn't expect like ending for the film, and it almost goes into like almost like a I don't know what you put, almost like a French New Wave style ending style to the film. Weird, hey? But true. Mascara, I definitely recommend it. Brian, I know you're not big on the adult releases, but this one right here, definitely worth checking out. Now let's go with the classic. And if you're going to go with the classic, maybe. I don't want to oversell it, but it is a really well done film. Henry Prashad, like was just mentioned there. How do you get people not to judge you? Talk about them right the way that I talk about them. That's how you get people not to judge you for, and people still judge me, I guess. Good Luck, Mrs. White. I don't have that one yet. It's such a great release, such a dark film, such like a really dark film. That was a labor of love, because that was obviously not going to be one of those titles that was going to be there for everybody. Everybody was going to get into. There's films like that they put out. Now, Good Luck is a dark film, and it is well done. It is extremely well done. Taboo. It's the Kay Parker classic, done by Curtis Stevens. Right, I want to make sure I have the name right. I don't think there's any. Well, I don't have a lot of adult titles like in my collection, Cinematheque. The thing is, like usually if I get an adult title, it's usually either something that I'm interested in because I want to know the plot line, or something that I've seen in my youth, and I wanted to see if it stood up. I'm doing a video on this series. This is a great release, by the way. They really kind of dive into the background of this one. with not one, not two, not three, but 4 audio commentaries on this release. Curtis Stevens was great at doing this type of work, and he did one called Letters of Love, which is another, does have like deals with has another like taboo section in it as well. I don't think it's been put out, or at least Vinegar Syndrome hasn't put it out yet, but it's a really good release. I remember it from back in the day. So yes, I have seen a few of these films, and I do kind of remember them. There's also an audio, there's an archival video interview with Kay Parker here as well. There's also a good like Rialto report, like a podcast with Kay Parker. Yeah, fork out. And for me, like that's why when people say, well, when are you going to do those vinegar, so those, it's called some After Dark videos. They take a lot of, well, if I'm going to do, doing Taboo, the 4 of them, like the original 4, then that's 4 commentaries I got to listen to. I got to watch the movie first on its own, at least once or twice, and I got to watch it with each commentary, write notes down, do that type of stuff. I do recommend that like part 4 is really good, Cinematech, but you do need to have part 2 and 3. The only kind of weak one out of the first 4 is part 3, and the reason behind that basically is there's this kind of like little subplot about a band, and it really doesn't take off the way that I know that it was supposed to. Part 2 is really good, really well done. Definitely, probably one of the sexiest of the taboo quadrilogies is part 2. But I would recommend getting them down the road before it's something that's no longer around. Now there is special features on all of their releases. I do need to get part 4. That one I think has Ginger Lynn, and I'm a huge fan of Ginger Lynn, as you'll find out in a second. Because number 3 of the adult films from Vinegar Syndrome put out that you do need to own is Trashy Lady. Karen Sumner, yeah. Trashy Lady is an excellent title. This is a comedic title, and it pretty much is like kind of it's My Fair Lady. It's Pygmalion in reverse, basically. Rather than a upper crust Englishman teaching somebody how to be more of a classy lady, it's a gangster mall that hires a gangster that hires like the gangster mall of a rival gangster to teach this girl that he likes, played by Ginger Lynn, who's too classy, to be less classy, to be more of a trashy lady. It's a comedic film. It has Harry Reams in it, and Harry Reams, of course, was in movies like Deep Throat. That's where he got his start. He wasn't actually supposed to be in the film Deep Throat, but the person that was supposed to do it didn't show up, so he ended up doing it. He has a very comedic side to him, and he does comedy really well. He's very broad, and he's good in the roles that he's in. Of course, we know Ginger Lynn as well because she has worked in regular films as well. Amber Lynn is in this one. We got Herschel Savage, Bunny Blue, Tom Byron, and Carolot is in here. That's not just the bear, it's actually an actress. There is a audio commentary on here by the director of photography, Tom Howard. There's an audio commentary on here by Herschel Savage and Bill Marigold. Well, that's why. Deep Throat, that's where it comes from the movie Deep Throat. You have to understand, Deep Throat wasn't a movie that just like was, that people saw in back alleys. Everybody went to see Deep Throat, man. My parents went to see Deep Throat. Your parents probably went and saw Deep Throat in a regular theater, not a sleaze theater, in a regular theater. But a great reason. Actually has a second film on there as well called Coming West, which I have not watched, so I cannot comment on the second film. But it's a bonus film, so that's always a good thing. The next 2 are definitely more. I got to see that one, really. I'll check it out. I do. Well, it depends. Like what times I'll watch the DVD copies. Like say, for instance, I'm in Morocco, and because one place that we have now, we don't have our Blu-ray players in there, so we just got a DVD player there. So sometimes I'll just shove in a DVD copy there. Although I find it like kind of easy to do. But it depends on like where I'm going. Usually I'll put on the Blu-ray. But DVD copy is nice to have, and DVD is also good if you have like a handbrake, for instance, and you want to make sure that that your films are safe and protected. Some people like to handbrake their films, which is a computer program. Yeah, it was called the Italian Stallion, the Sylvester Stallone one. That'll just pretty much just put a digital copy of your film onto your computer. Don't do it if you don't own the film. Just saying, legal, be legal. Fleshpot on 42nd Street. It's Andy Milligan. It is a great title. It is very much not an adult film, and pretty much in all aspects. There's a couple like adult scenes in it. Yes. Can you tell that Andy Milligan did not give a damn about putting the adult scenes in it? Also, yes. Did Andy Milligan really care about the characters in this film, and bringing them, like fleshing them out and making them like real living, breathing characters that actually said things that people would say and not just things that people say in an adult film? Also, yes. This is actually a really good film to double feature with the movie Angel, which is, of course, the Angel Collection was put out by Vinegar Syndrome as well, and I highly recommend that box set if you haven't got it. I'd rather be a cool code name. Yeah, I actually don't. No, I would have to go back and look. I did read the book on it at one point, but I don't remember right now. But Fleshpot on 42nd Street has a good story, actually really well acted, and for this. And I'm gonna put this out there too. What rainbow? Hey, Al, welcome, man. This has a commentary. It's on here. And not just any commentary, guys. This has a triple threat commentary. So for fans of my channel, for fans, well, not fans of my channel, fans of like these guys, this is going to be super exciting for you. And Cinematech, this is going to make it even better. It has a commentary with Sam Deegan, Heather Drain, and Kat Ellinger. So one of those names on a commentary is an automatic get for your library. They kill it with the commentary. They are excellent. Every time either one of those three people are on a commentary, that is automatically an extremely good commentary and worth having. I know I've heard that, and I hope that they do put it out. And I hope there's a documentary with it, Al. Because I would like to see a Milligan set, an Andy Milligan set with a documentary. But Fleshpot on 42nd Street, definitely one to own. Triple threat commentary. Can't go wrong with it. It's called Metal Nightmares. I don't know what that is. So called Solid Metal Nightmares. I know. And last but not least, in the adult ones, is one that does have an R-rated version. So if you don't want to watch the adult version, you can watch an R-rated edition of this one. And it should be a given now, before we even show you this film, what this film is going to be if you've seen my channel before. And that is the excellent, excellent Roberta Findlay film, A Woman's Torment, which may be one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Vinegar Syndrome release. A Woman's Torment is an excellent film. It's Roberta Findlay's, definitely her take on repulsion. The actress in here she didn't do very much, but much like the girl that was in Greta, there's just this enigmatic presence about her that really stands out, and it just really, really just kind of blows your mind in exactly how good she is in this film. There's some great stuff on here as well. There's an excellent commentary track with Roberta Findlay. There's a Q&A, which is really worth watching, with Roberta Findlay, which she did at the Quad Cinema screening. There's an interview with actor Michael Gott, who was in the film as well. And it is just an excellent film. And the alternate artwork, by the way, is actually really, really good. So this is the alternate artwork for A Woman's Torment. And if you're not an X-rated film fan, that's fine. You can watch the R-rated version. Both versions of it are excellent. Some people actually prefer the R-rated version to the X-rated one, and I definitely get it, because this has a good story. And story for me is key. Now I'm going to check your messages on there, because we've gone through 32 Vinegar Syndrome titles. There's a Blu-ray. Yes, this Blu-ray here includes both versions of Cinematech. So sometimes you'll see it like it'll only be on the. I'll make sure though. Yep, so only on the DVD, but the Blu-ray is on. It's on Blu-ray as well. And the commentary, if you want to watch the commentary, the Roberta Lynn, if you want to listen to the Lindley commentary on here. Roberta Findlay commentary, God. It's on the R-rated version. It's not on the X-rated version. That's her preferred version. So Roberta Findlay's preferred version of it is the R-rated version. Do you have the Blob Collector's Edition, like of the original or the new one? I mean, I got the Twilight Time edition of the Blob. Hey, Brian, do you think I could be one of those pitch guys? Do I like the original Pet Sematary? I actually do. I really like the original Pet Sematary. I first saw it with my aunt, who's now passed away. She actually died at a young age. But she was pregnant at the time with her second child. And it really, it kind of like, definitely affect you if you watch Pet Sematary. I don't have the Scream Factory one, no. It's definitely worth checking it, Dave. I mean, honestly, I want your thoughts, like afterwards. Like, don't go want to kick my butt afterwards. Andy Milligan from Failed Dreams. No, Andy Milligan's like a director like that has done a lot of films. This is a something weird video one that has the Ghastly Ones and Seeds of Sin. So that's Andy Milligan right there. So I would expect these to be two of the ones that are on the Severance set. If that Severance set is an actual legit thing that's coming out, when there's a bunch of features. Hopefully they'll get all the features as well. My best sci-fi horror. I don't know really. A sci-fi horror? Alien. I love Alien. And Terminator. Terminator's a slasher film really, but a sci-fi slasher. I don't answer the phone. And nothing against Code Red, but I would say yes, a Vinegar Syndrome release of a title. Probably better than a Code Red release of a title. Just yeah, not dissing anybody, just putting that out there. Hey, Danuch, welcome, man. I love Time Machine, 1960s. I don't like Jeepers Creepers films because, you know, elephant in the room type thing. But I did see the third one, free, and and it's horrible. Like I would strongly suggest to stay away from it because it's not a good film. Do you guys use like sound systems? I do. I have a sound system for my TV to give it more like I've got like a sound bar and I've got like my like speakers and stuff. I love the Beyond Steel. That's what that's one I got. It's one I really love. Yeah, I mean like, and especially since Code Red has gotten into like hand in hand, running through the fields with Dark Forces, it's really kind of like popped me off them a bit. But I do have some code. Obviously got some Code Red releases. Yes, worst case can, yeah. Flesh Gordon, I love Flesh Gordon back in the day. Flesh Gordon was one of those kind of, for those that know, Flesh Gordon's like, I'm not sure, is it X-rated? Or is it like just like kind of like a hard R? Because there was two. There's Flesh Gordon, and then they made a sequel, which is not as good, called Flesh Gordon Meets the Cosmic Cheerleaders. Yes, I'm weird enough. I know all this stuff. But the original Flesh Gordon film had like stop motion animation in it, and if I'm correct, I think it was done by David Allen. It actually had some really neat stuff in there, including a special type of dinosaur that is worth checking out. It is a funny film. It's definitely not meant for kids, but I saw it when I was younger. Like I was in my teens when I watched Flesh Gordon. I would like it to get a new release. I know it's a different time, huh? But I have to say, I got to say right now, and if you're here, please hit the like button. I really appreciate it if you do. Corruption of Chris Miller is one that I really looking forward to get. The Nooch knows I'm looking forward to getting that one, to seeing that one, and Death Bomb. I did a trade with Death Bomb, and that's one of the ones that I did trade for. Was for Corruption of Chris Miller, because I want to do like a Spanish horror video on here, and I need that one. Obviously 9 Lives. No, I did want to get it, John, during the Valentine's Day sale because I'm a big Abel Ferrer fan. It's just that title. Why couldn't they just say 9 Lives and not go for the whole title? Because You know, when I'm showing my better half, like, oh, I got this movie and I got this movie, uh, it's hard to like to explain to explain away that one, although it isn't a Belfrere film. You need to upgrade your TV. Are you looking at those like those upcoming Blue Underground 4K releases? Because wow, man. I've heard like Corruption of Chris Miller is an excellent film. I've heard a lot of great stuff about it. I heard it's one of the best like of that type that that they put out. So I'm very excited to see the film myself. It's gotten high reviews across the board. So if you're a fan of it, if you're a fan of like of those type of films, definitely grab it. I think it's almost like a giallo, right? Yeah, they're good films, good adult films, good sci films. Yeah, something that covers all three. Uh, I'll think about it though. That's good. That's a good question. Have I checked out Malabimba? Not the Vinegar Syndrome release. I would really like to get that. I do have an older release of Malabimba here, uh, but I actually really enjoy that. Labimba di Satana. There's like a remake. Why does that name sound familiar? Labimba di Satana. Any clues for the secret release? Actually, this time, guys, because the secret releases were apparently like leaked, I've stayed away from the clues for the secret releases because I was worried I was going to find out ahead of time. Uh, oh yeah, I got the Shameless release of it. I think Satan's Baby Doll, right? That works a lot for some people. Uh, yeah, thanks. I knew I had it. I just was trying to remember. It's nice, Dave, sometimes when you see when they put like the hardcore version and if there's an available R-rated version as well. I have not seen Climax of Blue Power. I've heard good stuff about it, but I don't know. It's more of a what they call like terminate a roughie. So just know that going in. But I have not seen it myself. I would never be able to like give you a thumbs up on something that I haven't seen. Horror Lego movie. I would actually like to see that. Can I like those? Yeah. Then if you don't like that style, then I'd say stick away from it. Uh, definitely if you until you because you want stuff you're going to be really comfortable with. Secta Sinistra, I don't know a lot about. It's one that that I would like to see myself. So eventually, I want to get Secta Sinistra too because it's a Spanish horror release. I do love Spanish horror, and then anything from Klimovsky to like the Paul Naschy stuff as well. I don't have enough Spanish horror. I got to go through my stuff, but I've got a few, and the Forgotten Jolly stuff had 2 Spanish Jollies on there, which I thought was excellent. What did you think, Jason? What do you think of Secta Sinistra? My favorite of that type was one called Winter Heat, which was of the Ruffy type. Had Jamie Gillis. I'm just a huge Jamie Gillis fan. So I just find he's an intense actor, and he just does stuff that just amazes me. Well, especially for an adult film. But here's a guy that could just be making like making a film making an adult film, and then just go off and do Shakespeare. That's the type of guy that he was. Two stories going on. It's a Birth of Satan movie. Okay, what's the other story? Crazy woman trying to marry her former lover. That sounds insane enough that I'm going to like it. So yeah, that definitely spokes her eyes out. Okay, yes, Secta Sinistra sounds like an excellent film in oh yeah, it's a me film. Jason, you know it's a me film. It's my style of film. But that's now I'm gonna, before I go any further, what I'll do is I'm gonna leave it open for some questions, especially if it's vinegar syndrome related questions or even the Severin related questions right now. I'm gonna see if I can find any of the clues that were put out, or if anybody knows where a place where I can find them at. Just to let you guys know, I am looking. I've been talking to Siri at Midnight, and we are looking to do a collaboration video in the very near future. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. So if you're a Siri Midnight fan, you should be, because he does really great stuff on this channel. There'll be a collaboration video done, and we're going to be talking about some different stuff, and it'll be fun. So check out Heath's channel, Siri Midnight, if you have not. We plan to like film something this weekend. We're both really tired and exhausted actually this weekend, which is probably another reason I'm doing a video right now, because tonight I'm probably just going to be zonked out. I'm going to sit back, watch some, like, my better half is watching Boomerang. So she's watching like Yogi Space Race. I'm probably going to watch some Law & Order SVU, which is very different stuff. But it should be like a excellent, fun thing to do. Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome. It's actually a cool name when you think about when you really realize what it is. And that's a cool thing to do when it comes to Vinegar Syndrome, is Vinegar Syndrome opens up a lot of people's eyes to so much different stuff about in film and different types of cinema, and even their name, the name of what they're called, Vinegar Syndrome. If you don't know what it is and you research it, opens up some extra behind the scenes about cinema itself and collecting, and why physical media is so important. What are my thoughts on the Blue Underground releasing the new 4Ks? I'm actually very excited about it, Dave. I'll be honest with you. When I initially heard of like some of the 4K releases that they put out, I was concerned. I thought it was just more of a cash grab type of thing. I did listen to the Shockwave podcast that had William Lustig on it, and I do recommend it. So when you're going there and you're queuing up your Just to This and your Pure Cinema, make sure you got Shockwave there as well. There are crossovers between all those, by the way. Rob Galuzzo, who does a lot of stuff on Just to This podcasts, is on Shockwaves. Elric Kane, who's on Pure Cinema, is on Shockwave as well. And Brian, who does both those podcasts and does an amazing job, was also, as guested, on Shockwaves too. So make sure that you check all those out. Oh, also, remember, Stephanie Crawford recently did a podcast, People I Think Are Cool, I think it's called. And I got that queued up, so I'm going to listen to that one later on tonight. So Steph has been in here a few times. She does a lot of stuff with Brian, and she has her own. She has a podcast that she's on called Screamcast. But she recently did like a podcast called People I Think Are Cool, where they interview Stephanie Crawford, and I think Steph is cool. Definitely one of the coolest people that I know. Yeah, I meet some of the cool people like Steph and Brian and Michelle, and all you guys out there. So while you're waiting for your Vinegar Syndrome sale to come through, there's some good stuff to listen to. Thanks, Al. I mean, like, these channels are really like, the thing, like, and I'll say again, is like, how this all started was a few years back. I decided I was going to start theming my videos by years. I didn't keep that up, but I started to fall in love with this company called Vinegar Syndrome, and at the time, not a lot of people knew them. Hey, welcome, Night Fright. Welcome to the cult. I said I'm going to do a whole year WTF. And I thought, okay, I'll get some Vinegar Syndrome stuff because they got a lot of like different, unique films. And then I'll get some other companies that are doing WTF. But Vinegar Syndrome continuously did the best, oh my God, what the hell is this type movies out there. And at around that same time, Vinegar Syndrome started to grow in popularity. So I think more people actually found my videos at that time because I was doing something that a lot of people weren't doing. Because I love that style of film. I can't talk about stuff that I don't like. That's the thing. If I'm not passionate about it shows. So I got to talk about stuff I like, and I like some crazy stuff. I do have Planet of the Vampires. You've Mary Bava, right? Are we talking about the same one? Because if we are, yeah, actually, it's a very colorful film. And if I got the right film, it's their costumes that they wear look a lot like the X-Men costumes from the Singer X-Men films. I know there's some great stuff. I watch a lot of unboxing like stuff that people do, and a lot of other channels as well. There's a lot of people on here, by the way. I'll have their own channels too, and do some amazing stuff. Um, so I'm down. Like, do I ever watch any John Roland films? I do. I early on we used to have this channel here in Canada called Scream Fact called Scream. It's about freaking you out. And actually, I talked about it on here. I talked about some of the people that they had. Ido van Belkom was one of the hosts who would come on and he would like introduce films. I talked about it a few times. So Ido's son actually contacted me and let me know that like some of Ido's openings were on YouTube, and I got to check it out. But there's a channel called, long story short, or short story long, Scream had this called Exhumed, and it was late night, and they would do a lot of foreign titles, and they would do a lot of Jean Rollin titles. So that's where I got like really opened up to Jean Rollin. I got opened up to Jean Rollin's films late in life, and I really fell in love with kind of like the film, like the cinematography and kind of the lyricalness of a lot of his work. I don't have enough Jean Rollin in my collection. I've only got a couple actually. I've got a Shiver the Vampire, and I've got the one they did from the Jezebel line, which I can't remember the name of right now, that Kino put out. But I do need more Jean Rollin in my collection. I really like his stuff. Hopefully that answers the question well. I like Cycles in Love. I mean, like, not it's not. I will say it's definitely not for everybody, but there's a great release put out by Severin, and it's called Skinner. And if you like Cycles in Love, if you like Skinner, then you're probably gonna like Cycles in Love. 'Cause that's my best thing. If you like Severin release of Skinner, then 110% check out Cycles in Love. I don't know. I don't know my favorite movie in my collection. One of my favorite movies is Black Christmas, but it's not my favorite movie in my collection. It all depends. I mean, on the day and the time of day you ask me. It could change. But there you go, guys. Do we have seen the Outpost? I got a couple of the Outpost movies. Beetlejuice Chihuahua. I don't know that franchise actually. It's my favorite horror TV show. Um, Penny Dreadful is excellent. My better half is a really huge fan of Penny Dreadful. Billy Piper, man. Uh, but you mean like a newer stuff or older stuff? Because I'd have to break it down. Or break it down. There's the older stuff. I'm like, would you consider like, because there's stuff like Outer Limits, man, and Twilight Zone. But I don't consider Twilight Zone a horror show. I mean, it does have horror elements, but I know it's more of a fantasy series. So Twilight Zone gets taken out like right away. And then I think about like was Night Stalker. I love Night Stalker when I was a kid, but what I really consider like the best horror show, when there's stuff out there like there's so much like really good stuff. Tales from the Crypt was one. I'm a big anthology guy, right? Was an excellent show. I was a big fan of, like, it didn't last a long time, but there's, or at least I think it's discontinued. They did 3 seasons of a show called Stalker that I actually really liked, and it was like a different like slasher series every season, kind of like American Horror Story, but Canadian, and more centered on the kills and the horror. But one of my favorites of all time is like I like the Screams series as well, but what's it's gonna I'm trying to remember the name of it right now. It's a Canadian TV show. And come on, come on, come on. It is killing me. It was such a good show. What am I trying to remember, guys? This is probably my favorite horror. I think it has Katie Cass. Is it Katie Cassidy in it? We're seeing Slasher. Oh, it's killing me. Oh my God, I just watched it last week. Callum Keith Rennie. This is when I'm having one of those like mental like blocks. Hey, 4K. I'm having a block here, man. Come on, where are you? No. Okay, let's go to Callum Keith Rennie because I know he's in it. I'm a big Callum Keith Rennie fan, by the way. If you've seen him, Californication or Due South, stuff like that, Callum Keith Rennie's in all those. If you ever asked me if there was ever a film done of me and I wanted somebody to play me, that would be Callum Keith Rennie. Because he'd get just that amount of sarcasm that I that's needed for that. Harper's Island. Harper's Island is my favorite. It was such a good show. I forgot the name of it. But no, Harper's Island. If you've never seen Harper's Island, by the way, yeah, everybody's locked in now. Check out Harper's Island. It only runs 13 episodes. It is a slasher series. It runs one season. It got canceled after the first season, but don't be worried about that because it is a complete storyline within the first season. They even have like a little web series as well that you can check out too. But Harper's Island is excellent. It is excellent. Lust and Dust is a cool one. Now, no going in, it's not John Waters. Like people see Divine and they think, okay, well, Lust and Dust is going to be just like John Waters' film. It's not. It's a good film. I think it's an initial release. Paul Bartel directed it. I'm a fan of Paul Bartel. Obviously, Mary Warnoff. I love Mary Warnoff. But it's got a great cast. Tab Hunter, Divine's in it. Paul Bartel is the director. A fun film. Fades. I like the Fades actually. There's a lot of good I'll do an episode sometime on horror TV shows and horror and fantasy TV shows. Give you my top ones. I'll give you my top release as well. But if you've not seen Harper's Island, check that out. Did Divine ever appear in a movie not in drag? I think. Man, Steph would know. Steph's never here anymore. But Steph would know. I think I remember a movie that Divine did, not in drag. Or at least partially did not in drag. But I'd have to go back. There's a Canadian actor too that was a drag actor that did like this excellent film back in the day. I remember seeing it on CBC a lot. I think it was a fantastic film. Have I seen I have not seen Punkfication. I have not been blessed with seeing Punkfication yet. I need to see Punkfication. I want to see the films on there. There's like 2 films on that one. But guys, there we go. At 83 minutes with my voice going and I can feel scratchiness coming up, it's that time again. It's a horror film by Nicolas Cage. Oh, that's a good one. I'm not sure. We'll go with Mandy. I am Aaron. This is my movie library. You are the call to cinema. You guys rock. Thank you so much for coming in. Please, if you've been here for a while, hit the like button. It really means a lot and means that other people are going to see the videos and come in, and we'll have even more people talking and introducing all of us to cool stuff. So have a great evening, guys. I'll see you soon. For me right now, it's time for tea.